We'll go back to this one more time. So you guys know today is the last day that I'm going to go over graphing parabolas. Tomorrow we're starting a new topic. And so you're looking at a quiz like maybe Friday. Because you only have so I'll get you an official date tomorrow. So anyway, we're gonna go to workbook page 122 right now. And with the goal of doing a real world context problem. Number 8 is a real world context problem. Number 7 isn't as much. But let's do it now. It's kind of a challenge. Two numbers have a sum of 2 and a product of -8. The quadratic equation (n squared plus 2n plus 8 equals 0 can be used to determine the numbers. So we're going to graph this and find the x-intercepts, and then we'll have the numbers. So this is a method of finding 2 unknown numbers that have this commonality. So if you want to have your blue paper out, that would be helpful. Your blue paper goes to the steps of graphing. So what is step 1? Do you know?
Identify A, B, C, if possible, and the Y-intercept.
What is it?
So for this one, A equals -1 because there's a negative sign. Here's the equation that we're doing. (n squared plus 2n plus 8. Yeah, so B is 2.
No. Congratulations, you did the easiest part of the equation.
So then, what would the Y-intercept be? Janelle, what's the Y-intercept? 0, 8. Good job. C is our Y-intercept.
Oh, okay.
Down the end. So you can plot that in your workbook. That's our first point. Alright, what is the second step on the blue paper, Ada Marie? Find axis of symmetry, and how do we do that? This is where your memorized formula comes in. So I'm going to give you a minute to do that before I do it. Go ahead and do -3 over 2a. Tony, do you want to put that in the middle? Mikhail, you did it?
I have my contact. Put it right here, please.
Alright, thumbs up if you got x equals a positive 1. Okay. Good, a lot of people. X equals a positive 1. How should we represent this on the graph, Thomas? What does this x equals axis of symmetry look like on the graph? And how do we show it? With what?
What do you do, Thomas?
What do you mark them?
Even dash line. Dash line. Yeah, come on.
This is a bit of a mind reader question.
Thomas, please go.
Didn't know what I was asking. That's okay.
Do better.
Do your homework.
I did do my homework.
Exactly.
Alright, you guys go on to the next point. You may have done it with you several times. I just saw somebody's graph already done it.
Miss, I already finished in my
I was
mind.
not here, so it wasn't tight.
What?
Oh, I bet you. Well, get your facts straight before you speak. Yeah. Gator light. Gator light. It's good.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the fruit punch would suck though. Dash line.
We're done. Is that a good one? No.
All right, what's our next move, Alicia? One more. I didn't do one thing yet. Maybe you're ahead of me. Something I'm gonna do before the
Oh yeah, the
table.
vertex.
The
Oh, you gotta
vertex.
find the vertex, bro.
I know the vertex. I forgot.
So to find the vertex, we're gonna plug in x equals 1.
So it'd be -1. Is it -1?
The negative's
Plus.
outside. So I would almost say -1 times 1 squared.
Plus 2 times 1 plus 8. Which would be -2 plus 2 plus. And then you get your point with the graph. Yeah, I know that.
So.
Right. Will said it was gonna be 8.
No, that's because you said -2. Guys, stop arguing up there. Just find the answer and be quiet.
I got the answer.
No, you had it wrong. What do you think I should do? Go on tour of your
No.
So this is really kind of essential. And it takes students a really long time to figure out. Some people even go all the way through algebra 2 and they don't get it. Okay. This is -1 times n squared. Okay. It is not -n squared. Very different. Even in a calculator, it's different. So if I plug a 1 in here, that would be -1 times -1. That would come out positive. If I plug a 1 in here, I do 1 squared first. -1 times 1 is -1. If there's not parentheses around this negative sign, it doesn't get squared. It's really important. Yeah, because exponents come before multiplication. I mean, technically, everybody would benefit if this was written this way instead. All of math should go back to writing it that way instead of just putting a negative sign. Alright, now what Avisha said, we'll head to the table. Head to the table. What's your question? My question was how many times do you have to go up on that dot? I can't really
You gotta go up 8.
Because that's a Y-Intercept.
You know what's better is to not copy the dots, to find a point and just graph your, like, you know how to plot a point.
Oh, that was the point?
Yeah. So don't copy the picture. Plot the point. I think I might. The vertex. The red dot's the vertex.
That's what they'll do to you, bro.
Let's make a
Don't
table.
get one.
Patrick, how are we gonna make a table for this?
It's like the drop.
Yeah. So in the middle goes the vertex, which we've already calculated.
No. Oh yeah.
So we got 0, -1, 2, 3. So how many of you from a thumbs up right now think you can move to these steps on your own?
I got you. Psych! I lied.
Tony, put your thumb up right now.
Okay, good job, guys. Alright, so let's plug in and see how we do.
Psych! I lied. This problem is
No one's laughing. Like, I don't see anyone laughing.
0 we already
Good job. It's a calming thing. I just stressed out right now. Yes, over this math. Let me be. Oh yeah. Natalie wants to play me. Oh, yeah. Natalie in Korea. Game. You guys want to play? They said you guys were going to play today. No, I said Natalie wants to play me, so I don't know if they're going to play today or something.
Say you were making a game.
We can fly off into the sunset together.
Yeah, I'll probably most likely go into tennis.
I genuinely don't like myself.
What'd you get? You got 5? I'll do it really quick. So that would be -1 minus 0 plus 8 5 is right. Good job.
I want to pay you.
Cool. Yeah.
There has to be a point where you're like, dude, I'm getting it.
I'm always to that point, Jake. I love it.
I love it too.
That's the point where you're like, I'm just distracting the class from learning. Why don't you just stop? But you're not getting that.
I'm not distracting people.
How'd your math go, guys? Did anybody have a question about your numbers? All right, plot your points, and then gosh, I don't think this is gonna tell us our numbers yet. The whole purpose is to find the two numbers that will
Vortex.
have a sum of 2 and a product of -8.
What? Sum of 2 and a product of -8.
Yeah, read the problem in the book.
So something plus something will have to equal 2, because something times will have to equal 8.
No, but I can't see it.
So far I only have this. This says graph the function to determine the x-intercept. So what do we have to do to figure out the x-intercept? Does anybody have an idea?
Honestly, the first time in my life.
Aiden? Aiden? We have to keep going. We have to keep the problem going. What do you mean by keep going? Just yeah, Aiden, great job. Alright, so Aiden says, alright, we're looking for x-intercepts, so we have to make our parabola go all the way down here. Our 5 points aren't getting us there. So he's thinking, well, let's just make our table longer. So let's try plugging in 4 and 5 and see if that's going to get our parabola down to the x-intercepts. So if you didn't calculate any of these numbers, here's your chance.
I think take a picture of the board.
I don't even know. The first time in my life. Really? I don't even know.
Alright, what'd you guys get? You plug in 4 and you plug in 5. 23.
Wait, no.
I hope not. This would be negative 1 times 16 plus 8 plus 8. So that's negative 16 plus 8 plus 8. 0. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for 0. Negative 8 plus 8, 0. So you see, well, how I'm squaring this first, and the negative 1's still on the outside.
What's 8 minus 4?
Negative 1 times 25 plus 10 plus 8. Negative 25 plus 10 plus 8. Negative 15 plus 8.
Then you got
Negative
8.
7. So we're at 4, 0.
Plus 2 plus 2. What's that? Plus 2 plus 2. Baby 2.
Now, since this is a line of reflection, I can reflect this point over. So it's from the yellow dash, it's 1, 2, 3 to the right. There'll be another point 1, 2, 3 to the left. So the problem asks us to determine the y-intercepts, and we found them. X equals negative 2 and x equals 4. And these are the numbers. These two numbers have a sum of 2 and a product of negative 8. Anybody have any questions about the graph or the math? The most value part of working that problem out was the negative in front. If you figured out the order of operations correctly with that negative in front, you're in a really good place. Moving forward to the next one about a bridge. Those numbers might be a little bit difficult, so let's just jump right into it and figure it out. It's a picture of like a stone parabola, and there's bars hanging from it, and the bars are holding up the suspension bridge. So here's your parabola, they hung bars from it, and bolted to those bars is a road, and that's how the bridge works.
So like on the side of the so the order of pair would be 5, negative 7.
Right, and that's what you put.
Okay.
Yep. Any other questions before we move on to the bridge problem? Okay.
Wait. Can you just I need to get the order of pair set.
You guys can go ahead and start the next one. You noticed that? Go ahead and start it. Has anyone done it and it works out well? Anybody got far ahead? No?
Is 4 0? Is it 4 0 on that one?
Yes, 4 from 0.
Alright.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Okay, listen. A footbridge is suspended from a parabolic support. So that's our equation, h of x. It looks pretty wild. So it's y equals negative 1 over 25 x squared plus 9. This is the equation that we're graphing. Represents the height and feet of the support above the walkway. X equals 0 is in the middle of the bridge. We're going to graph it to find the x-intercepts. So identify A, B, and C.
That's my bad.
It's all good, man.
Alright, so A is -1/25. This time B is 0 and C is 9. There's a 0 in the middle of this. When there is no x by itself, there's a 0 in the middle. Axis of symmetry. Oh, Georgia, how do you find the axis of symmetry? How do you do it, Georgia? Okay. Kalia, axis of symmetry.
You got extra time this weekend.
That's a key point right there.
Yeah, so next we'll do -b/2a. Will pointed out that I didn't identify the y-intercept, so we can go ahead and get 1.09. I hope everybody gets 1 point on all of their parabolas. This axis seems to be going by 3, so 3, 6, 9, 12. Alright, -b/2a. Alright, anytime you have a 0 for b, your axis of symmetry is just 0. Joseph, what do we do with this axis of symmetry? Uh-huh. And how does it look on the graph? We want to do a dashed line.
Oh no.
We're on number 8 now, Libby.
It's gonna be okay, Libby. You'll figure it out.
Alright, so now, like Joseph said, we'll put 0 into the equation.
What? I said Libby or Iggy.
Alright, so anything times 0 is 0. So this is just 0 plus 9, which is 9. And we saw this Friday. We graphed one like this, where the vertex and the y-intercept are the same. Anytime there's no b, the vertex and the y-intercept are the same. So we're ready for the table. Wait, what?
Hmm? Really? I'm coming over your house tonight. What?
Yeah, so for this table,
Yeah. Is that a threat?
0,
Kinda
9
neat.
is in the middle.
I don't see
Then
how
we're
that's
at
possible.
-1, -2, 1, 2.
I don't see how that's possible.
Oh, that's a lot.
It actually is possible. It's really easy.
You ever see Mike Tyson like that country, bro? You didn't watch Mike Tyson fight him?
He hit someone zero.
You've never seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Alright, let's just do a workout.
He was just like biting through the ear. Yeah. You're gonna take
Hit it off.
He said he was sorry, okay? He said he was sorry. Yes, he did. You know, you can, like, in here, you can, like, pinch your hardest and it won't hurt because it's all cartilage.
So here's the math.
We're not in science.
Ends up being -4/25 plus 9. Let's go ahead and get a decimal for
I already have the answer.
Why do we have negative 36 divided by 25?
I do. It's just yesterday I picked up
Negative 0.8.
Yeah, because my kids is like 2 weeks.
Is it Saturday? Is it Saturday?
Quince. You know what quince means?
It's negative
15.
0.4.
I'm 19.
Is it decimal?
I did my Duolingo.
I can't come in 36. She said a decimal.
I said this.
So
1.4, just like Patrick said. Verify that. Continue with the table. You don't need to wait for me. Continue on.
What sound does a goose make?
wait.
Wait. That's a duck.
Who said it?
Yeah, mouse
Hey, that.
Watch him learn this. Watch him learn. Huh? I learned this.
Christian. I mean, I hang out with some of my other friends, but I still hang out with my friend group.
It was reflexes, you know.
Because I love my friend group. Yeah, I don't think it did. Well, it was our friend group, and then we opened our friend group into Josiah. I hate Josiah so much. Josiah can.
We're going to do negative 4 divided by 25 plus 9.
Dude, it's not even as bad as ours.
You guys, who was sitting there and knew that this was the answer?
Our lunch table sucks.
8.84.
Sea lunch is the worst.
Really?
I multiplied it in
Sea lunch? Sea lunch sucks.
Guys, let's stop talking about lunch and more about graphing parabolas. Thank you.
Jake, I think we need to
Parabolas. Parabolas.
Ablas? Parablas?
Tony, I spelled it right, dude. Don't tell me.
Parablas. That's what you just said.
I'm gonna hit you.
That's kind of mean.
In your left abdomen.
At the mid, what?
Abdomen. Is that necessary?
Second.
Definitely a second grade.
Oh, you see?
Definitely still learning his ABCs. Should definitely turn on
ABC.
Alright, this table is getting us nowhere. Right?
Yeah, this table isn't very good.
Are you guys with me that this is no good? This is no good. So, what are we going to do? We have to figure out the x-intercepts. Yeah. So, same strategy as last time. We need to extend. Should we just go right to like 3 and 4? Or do you guys want to skip?
No, we should put them go to
Yeah, seeing as this goes by 3s, yeah, let's skip around. So let's go.
No, it's okay.
Let's go 6 and 9 and see how that works. Alright, so all of the everybody on the right side of the room plug in 6. Everybody on the left side of the room plug in 9. Thomas, I want you to try 10, okay?
Yeah, but I thought it's the same thing. No, it's not.
I forgot we did this.
One negative 1.5. Look, negative 1.5. There's 2. How do we get that?
Yeah.
Do we want?
I mean, I broke his phone.
Still got 5.
I'm gonna just
5.
Even 5 from 10. Negative 4.
You know that's on my head right now?
yeah.
I'm gonna make some.
That's gay.
You know what's happening? I'm gonna just pencil please. I can't learn now.
If I could spin it.
I can't learn now.
Alright, here's the numbers I got. I know some of you are with me. So
can't
here's
learn.
the numbers. So yeah, 10 didn't get us there. 10 only got us to 5, so I got 7.5 and 5.7.
Yeah, no way.
How?
I was just trying to bring light.
I was just trying to make Lynn be quiet. So
I guess this one's better.
So here's the bridge. Here's the bridge. You can see when you apply mathematics to real world context, of course, it's more complicated. We're using decimals. We're having to extend our table. Alright, so I heard Patrick say let's try 14. I'm on board with that.
I like that idea.
Let's try 14, 15, and 16. And we're trying to find 0. We're searching for 0 as an answer. Okay? Cadence, you plug in 16, okay?
Which calculator?
Jake, you plug in 15.
Need my calculator.
Can I play in 16?
Sure.
Oh, we had
Logan, did you do 14 yet?
So if you think myself, I'll know it.
What do you do?
Well, maybe you
Right.
should do one. Maybe you should do 16.
MTC.
Wait,
My
Miss, I'm
team
doing
stand
15.
up. Sit down.
Yeah, you do 15.
Where's my calculator?
Cause tonight will be the night that I'm
Be quiet.
over done, don't need anybody.
Thomas, come on.
You see that? Why you have your phone out, Thomas?
Like, really? We're just gonna fly.
What was on there, Thomas? Sounded it sounded familiar.
Wait.
And I think you got your phone.
That means you want to do for me.
No, I know that one that says
So hopefully, some of you are with me. 15 calculates a perfect 0. A perfect 0. So we're gonna come here to 15 and put our dot in.
Wait, 15 is a perfect 0?
Over done, don't mean change my mind.
I will be for you.
Don't mean change my mind. Now I won't live to see another day. I swear it's true.
Sure, Asher, it's a bridge. The question though, Asher's really visualizing, he can see the bridge. What is the length of the walkway between the points where the supports intersect? So here's the pillars. Here's the pillars, here's the road. What is the length of the walkway?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were looking at that. Was really good.
Okay, great guys.
So I just figured out 15.
I love how you said 24. Here's 12 here. My dots are actually at 15. It's 15, 0, and negative
We spent all class doing these two problems.
I believe you double 12. Is that how you
Dude,
Just a little bit further double 12.
he spent this whole class doing two problems.
I think we should shoot.
How tall is the parabola that is supporting the bridge?
14 feet.
9 feet high.
Dang, I wish I was that tall. I'm short as frick. I wish I was tall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's
What?
15 divided by 5?
What?
I didn't mean that.
They are short.
Alright, so I know that this may have felt kind of
You know what I'm
lengthy,
short?
but
Can you like make our
as you're moving forward to the SAT, you can expect questions like this and finding the length and things like that. So
I guess like
your
a whole class page
assignment
of two.
as you move forward is it's the same page numbers 1 through 4. I'm gonna go ahead and rewrite number 4 for you. It's p squared plus 4p minus 3 equals 0.
1 through 4. But you want, okay,
So I want you guys to be quiet for the end of class.
Why?
Alright, let people who are motivated to work.